Hey everyone, John from ScreenRelish here, and in this video we're taking a look at CMU, the College of Makeup Art and Design in Toronto. Recent films like Deadpool, Civil War, shows like Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, show that a mix of both practical and digital effects has grown in demand, in both fantastic and subtle ways. CMU is one of the only places in the world that offers a curriculum involving both practical and digital makeup design comprehensively. Students are immersed in an intensive course structure mimicking the demands of the actual field. The college is currently under renovation and at the time of this recording was preparing for the inclusion of a new wing. Our visit was also during the end of the spring term and was certainly a busy one. That said, a few of the instructors, as well as CMU President Barry Patterson, made themselves available to speak on their experience and what the school has to offer.
We are looking at where makeup art design is going and how it's intersecting with visual effects. And so going out and talking to people in the industry and sort of seeing where there were gaps, we designed a program which is a creature and character design program that focuses not only on the practical, the actual hand building or sculpting of creatures and characters, but also the digital. In our current core program, what they learn is all facets of makeup art and design. They start with hairstyling. After that, they go into fashion.
You think about 1860s to like 1945, and you have to historically have historical accuracy for that makeup, you know, whether it's a lipstick that has to be the right color or facial hair on men.
And then they move into film.
Or the director has a vision that says, I want to work in this kind of template of color. I want this film to have this feel about it. So all of the departments kind of have to work together with that, you know, and go, oh, okay, so we don't want to use any green.
They move into doing out-of-kit special effects, which is all that fun, gory stuff like zombies and also medical.
We have to know what diseases look like, what kind of disease, what would happen with a person if they, you know, ended up with some particular kind of disease. If they're going through heart surgery, what kind of scar would that leave? There's a lot of research that goes into every film we do.
There is a component of Photoshop that we're introducing, a small basic component where they learn a little bit about concepting and photo retouching. And then they move into prosthetics. They do 6 weeks of prosthetics where they learn how to do life casting on each other, how to mold and create a prosthetic and then apply it and make a total look so they make real creatures.
At this stage, prosthetics, students become more engaged in thinking about how practical makeup and digital effects work in unison to achieve a final look.
I do remember the early forays into it. The first one I remember really taking note of was in The Mummy. They were mapping some makeup effects onto the actor playing the mummy character. I can't remember what the actor's name was. And it never quite got there. There was always a little bit of, you felt like it wasn't fully connected to him. I think it took a while before people realized that the technology had actually progressed quite a ways, and a number of directors really having faith in that technology coming into its own. Certainly Peter Jackson in the Lord of the Rings movies made huge leaps and bounds with that sort of thing.
These days, hands-on sculpting experience translates especially well with 3D modeling via the software students will be utilizing and, with tuition, obtain a lifetime registration for.
ZBrush, which is an industry standard tool for digital modeling and very artistic.
ZBrush is a digital sculpting tool that combines 3D modeling, texturing, and painting. It uses a proprietary Pixel technology, that's P-I-X-O-L, which stores lighting, color, material, and depth information for all objects on the screen. Again, the main difference between ZBrush and more traditional modeling packages is that it is more akin to sculpting, which ultimately brings everything from the CMU program together.
We started from this probably. I actually sort of, one afternoon, a couple of afternoons, I started off with this guy and I made a muscular version so the muscles were in the right place. Spent probably 2 days doing it. And I kept him and then he become him. And I just sort of bent him into a nice shape and stretched bits. Stretched his head longer, gave him 3-way legs, so that it could be a suit, and you know, it stretched his fingers and things. If I sculpt something in ZBrush, this is the thing, it is a design, but you could take that away now, animate it, and that would be the thing. So, say this was a character in the film, I mean, I would get this far and show a director how it would be, and we could do this as a makeup, I think. This wouldn't be too hard to do as a makeup, it looks like a doable thing. Or we could send this thing off and that would be the thing in the film. We can paint it up and render it and animate it.
With all this showcase on the more exotic side of combining practical and digital, it has to be said that the subtle examples of its use can be just as impressive.
There's a lot of, I think, stuff that goes largely unnoticed, and that's kind of where it's most successful. You don't want to know that there's a special effect happening, and that's always been the way. I worked on a movie a number of years ago called Wrong Turn, and it wasn't a big computer effects movie, but we did have a couple of things that were quite significant. And one was a scene where there's a sheriff talking to a bunch of young people they've been chased by the maniacs, and they're trying to get him to believe them. And suddenly an arrow hits him in the face, and he dies, obviously. Well, he played the whole scene with a fake arrow, an appliance, and this fake arrow sticking out of his face. And then they used the computer technology to take the arrow away and replace part of his face as a digital effect. And so he does, quite a lengthy take with this thing in his face, and the audience never realizes it's there because it's been eliminated and revealed at the right moment, kind of thing.
What it combines into it is a fine art kind of foundation component where they learn life drawing, figurative sculpting, and they learn the foundations of Photoshop to be used later on. And throughout the courses and modules, they learn about career opportunities and how they have to present themselves.
So guys, it was really cool to see what CMU is all about with our first visit, and great to discuss some of the ways practical and digital effects have evolved side by side over the years. CMU has told us that the digital wing is currently live throughout the summer and will be taking in new students with their fall curriculum. For our next visit, we'll take a look at that wing and maybe get to roll up our sleeves and join in some work in progress. I hope you guys found this interesting. If character design is something you're interested in, I would recommend looking into CMU and seeing if it's for you. Their intensive program definitely provides the tools to help develop a lot of skills in a relatively short amount of time. Until then, this is John from ScreenRelish. Thanks for watching.